So, what does the assassination attempt on Donald Trump have to do with tabletop role-playing games? Not a whole lot, but there is one important link that I thought was worth talking about. Everybody is commenting, at least in the mainstream media, about how the rhetoric of the campaign is inflammatory and how Trump incites violence with a lot of his statements. And a few have even been honest enough to comment that the same is true of the Biden campaign. As usual, the left-wingers are accusing the right-wingers of inflammatory rhetoric and not discussing their own, and the right-wingers are accusing the left-wingers of inflammatory rhetoric while not discussing their own. And my first controversial take on this is the rhetoric of both sides is completely legal. It is protected free speech. It might be hateful or even hate speech, if you will, but it is protected free speech, except for the few comments where direct advocacy of violence has been made. That's known to be illegal by precedent. You might not like the speech, and I don't like it from either side personally, but it is legal. However, one of the underpinnings of our system, along with the constitutional freedoms and guarantees that we have, is the understanding that part of having the degree of liberty and free speech that we have includes a responsibility that, while not specifically legislated, because it would be impossible to legislate, there is an underlying assumption that there will be some deference and some politeness in most of your speech. It underlies American culture as a whole, or has until recently. It's the reason that in the Old West, people didn't shoot each other down in the street every day. Everyone had guns, but everyone understood that you had to show a level of deferential respect as a presumptive attitude toward someone who you were meeting or encountering until you had a reason to change that. Anything else could lead to violence. And we're seeing that kind of play out today. So what does this have to do with tabletop role-playing games? Look at the speech that you're seeing in media like YouTube or anywhere else. People protected by the anonymity of the internet are using words to each other and saying things to each other that are just way out there, and there's just a lot of inflammatory speech going on around role-playing games. People routinely call each other idiots, or from some woke morons or neo-Nazi. I mean, these terms are slung around like they're nothing, and that has created a lot of negativity, a lot of divisiveness that really, for a hobby, is just ridiculous. So the lesson that I would take from Trump's assassination attempt, which thank goodness he survived, love him or hate him, is maybe we should start treating each other with a little bit of deferential respect. This isn't really a political issue because it comes all across the spectrum. It's an issue of our system. And I think that we should maybe restrain ourselves a little, especially those who are prone to invective at any excuse. Of course, the other part of this is the overuse of this, the constant negative flaming things that you see and hear. It dulls sensibilities. It destroys the effectiveness of invective. So unless we start saving that for situations where it's genuinely required, we're basically saying everything is awful all the time, and that's a terrible thing for a hobby. So I just wanted to chime in and say, while I have strong views myself on a lot of things, I try to keep myself and my comments more to the positive side. And if I am negative, I try to make it something that's not painful. Might be humorous, might be a little bit of a jab, but it isn't painful and it isn't personal and it isn't inflammatory. At least that's what I hope. And I hope others will take this lesson as well. Thanks for listening.